Hello, everyone. I am John Payne. I'm a senior relationship manager here at HedgePoint at the U.S. Ag Desk in Chicago. Appreciate you watching this video. Today, we're going to talk about GMO corn, the United States exporting corn to Mexico, and the overall fallout that we might see on the markets from last week's announcement that Mexico, yes, will proceed with an announcement made about a year ago that they intend to ban or halt the price of government purchases of GMO corn from the United States starting in 2024. So this has met with a lot of backlash from U.S. producers here and users in Mexico. But the president in Mexico, after a visit from John Kerry, our our chief climate officer, I think maybe the term for the United States, visit there. Apparently, in attempts to curb global warming, climate change will attempt to move off of GMO corn imports as soon as possible. So this is going to come with some fallout here, just to kind of lay the ground to work in regards to how the corn markets look in the United States. We are, I would say, 85 to 90% U.S. producers produce GMO corn or a version of GMO corn. Why? It's easier to grow. The yields are better. A lot of technology has been put into the crop to help prevent things like herb loss or insect loss. These crops have been formed over time with traits that are now developing into yields that are almost double what we saw a year ago. So I've included a yield chart with this video. As you can see, really after World War II, U.S. yields started to jump and really got into very, very quickly increasing year-over-year yield counts as we moved through the 1970s. Technology improved, and then the U.S. producer began to see this and grow GMO corn as we moved into the mid to late 90s. U.S. exports to Mexico really have picked up after NAFTA. So as NAFTA was signed in 2004, I believe, 2005, we saw a very, very big, mid 90s, in 93, 94, 95. We started to see the imports from China or from the U.S. pick up, and Mexico corn consumption increase. So now we're at a point where the U.S. Exports close to 17 million metric tons of corn a year into Mexico. That's right around 450, 500 million bushels in that area. So the goal being to half that number, that would be the expectation here, that the Mexicans would not import this GMO product. So what are they going to import instead? Are they going to import all non-GMO corn? Well, they could. Most non-GMO corn is grown outside of the Western Hemisphere. So Argentina grows some non-GMO corn. Brazil grows non-GMO corn, which those two countries would be kind of ideally what would be imported. But the problem is the producers need to be incentivized to plant non-GMO. So if you're going to simply switch out non-GMO for GMO, you're going to lose yield, which means the producer is going to need more money per acre to meet his cost demands. So not only are we going to see yields fall, you're going to see costs go up because all of the technology that's been put into these GMO traits will have to be replaced, or you will see further yield drag. So farmers don't want to plant this crop, but may have to if this is all the governments are going to buy going forward. There is also another problem with Brazil. Brazil recently signed a deal with China to import a massive sum of corn going forward, much of which can be non-GMO, or can be GMO rather. So the GMO, which would potentially be swapped out for non-GMO to sent to Mexico, China is fine to take that product. And given it's cheaper, easier to grow, and better to yield, I imagine the producers in Brazil are going to lean towards selling to China rather than selling to Mexico. Not to mention, Mexico, in its location to the United States, sits right on railways. There's also already a process to get into the country. So if there's going to be a switch, how is this going to facilitate itself within the U.S. market? If you took apples to apples, say, okay, Mexico's going to import less corn. Mexico's the biggest customer of U.S. corn. We're going to have an excess carryover here in this country until we see a shift or rotation by producers. So a lot of moving parts in this trade. One we'll continue to watch here going forward. But all in all, if you get yield dropping globally on the same demand numbers that are needed, you're going to see a tremendous shortfall in corn over the coming years. Whether that plays out or not is the argument. That is it. I appreciate you joining me on this video. Give us a shout here at HedgePoint if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.